Are you talking?
Bhante, you are muted.
Hi, Prashant.
Oh, okay. So Prashant had helped us figure out what happened last week. Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
We can hear you.
That's good.
Bhante, are you going to Europe?
In
Right?
May and June, not tomorrow. I'm going to California tomorrow
Oh,
for 2 weeks to do a couple of few Dhamma programs, some day of mindfulness,
nice.
and also to visit my brother and some of his sons, family, and yeah.
Good.
Okay, friends. So let's begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So in the mailing, I asked you to, instead of picking a specific topic tonight, I want to open it up to questions. If any of you have any questions about meditation practice or any aspects of the Dhamma connected with the the meditation or just general Dhamma questions. So no one sent me any questions, and I don't see any in the chat box yet. So if you have a question, then you can just raise your hand, or I see Anne in Florida is waving a hand. Okay, you have a question, Anne? You're muted, Anne. Unmute yourself.
Okay. You hear me?
Yes.
It's a two-part question, I guess. Could you briefly explain the third characteristic of existence, no self? And secondly, as we increase our understanding of no self, does our suffering, dissipate some? Like if we really get it, that we're not a solid, permanent entity, then does our suffering diminish? And how can we better understand that third characteristic?
Well, without understanding the first two characteristics, it's more difficult to try to understand no self separated from the understanding of impermanence and suffering. So that's why normally they are mentioned in this order: anicca, or impermanence; dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness or suffering that comes from things that we can't control and are constantly changing beyond our control. And so they're suffering in terms of they're full of disappointment, dissatisfaction, we're never content, and craving cannot be satisfied. So and then the third one is if things are impermanent and you can't control them, then how can you call them yourself? Now that takes more understanding to understand that, because the Buddha defined self as the five aggregates. We take our body to be mine, me or mine, our feelings, perceptions, volition, and consciousness to be I, me, or mine. But can we really control those things? For the most part, no. Maybe only in the very highest levels can you control your thoughts once you attain jhana. And we can't control our bodies because, if conditions are right, they're going to get sick. We can't prevent old age and death. And so they cause people a lot of suffering. So anyway, so basically the idea of self is, the feeling, right now you have an idea that you are somebody, right? You have a name, you have a family history, and everybody else you call different names. There's Prashant, there's Kimberly, there's Kiet, there's Bhante, and you think that they are some kind of permanent entities. Now, temporarily they are, but they're not permanent, and they're subject to, to change. And our own consciousness, even our sense of ourself, can also change. But the way that you experience no self in meditation is you have to understand where this self came from. How did this self come about? When you were a baby, you didn't have a self. It took several years for the sense of self to gradually form in the mind. And so from our deeper understanding, the sense of I is something that's been created within the mind. It's not something eternal or something that belongs to you forever and ever and ever, because it's changing. Now, temporarily, when we have this life, yes, it appears in our consciousness, but through states of meditation, you can transcend that. You can see through the illusion of how the self is created. And the self exists entirely because of desire. Desire and aversion are what create the self. And I've given talks on this before. Like the example of the baby when it's born, it doesn't have a sense of self and it doesn't have a sense of past or future. And that's how our self is, we identify. We can identify, well, 5 years ago I lived in this place and I was doing that. And, we identify with where we've been in the past, and what we want in the future is what creates our sense of self. Now, when the mind stops doing that, the sense of self starts to kind of fade away, because it's not some kind of permanent atom or whatever, a permanent thing that's within the consciousness. So this is, the sort of deeper meaning of the idea of no self. The Buddha taught that this sense of I, me, or mine, that's the way we identify ourselves. Say, I'm going there, I believe this, I think that, I don't like this, I like that. And then, give it to me, look at me. And this is mine. And that we see others as other people with self. And this is what all conflicts is, because we're clinging to these perceptions of people's self and put them into little boxes, and thinking that they don't change. But people can change. Our sense of self changes from a child to a teenager to a young adult to middle-aged, and the various jobs and professions you have. It's a constantly, but underlying is just the sense of I am separate from you. This idea that we're all separate beings. Now, of course, we are temporarily, but it's a source of our frustration, because the self gets sad, it gets happy, and then it gets sad. All these are dependent on conditions. So understanding impermanence and how the self actually exists because of desire and aversion. And that's why we have to go on desiring, and why desire cannot be satisfied, because as soon as desire is satisfied, the sense of self has no purpose, because it's made to always be moving forward, because that's the way we've been conditioned. So in meditation practice, that's why we first try to understand how our mind gets created. And so by mindfulness, by learning to keep your mind in the present moment, letting go of thoughts of the past, letting go of thoughts of the future, these are the things that keep our sense of self, our ego consciousness, let's say ego consciousness, rather than the idea of self, because self is kind of what does it really mean? But when you say I consciousness, ego consciousness, it's a more specific, it's more clear. So the sense of you being separate from somebody else, that's self-consciousness or I consciousness. And as soon as we stop doing and wanting things, that sense of I starts to fade away, because it's only kept strong because of this continual desire and activity that we have. We're always wanting to go here, wanting to go there, do things. If people stop doing anything, usually they go to sleep. But to remain conscious and not do anything, that's how you experience a transformation. So by developing moment-to-moment mindfulness, without clinging to each moment that comes, moment of hearing, moment of smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, you tune into that flow of impermanence. That's why the flow of impermanence is the easiest one to understand. It's a training. We train our attention to just note the various things coming through our body and mind, but without clinging to them and drawing in ideas of the past and the future about it. And if you're able to do that, when you develop mindfulness and concentration, and the mind stops even identifying with the body, the pains on the body, and so on, you stop reacting to those. Because when we have a pain in the body, it's the self that doesn't want it. Oh, it's pain. It's hurting my body. And so that keeps the sense of self there in your mind. It keeps it strong. But when you stop that, when you develop the ability to endure pains, endure sounds, even endure your thoughts, not identifying with your anger, not identifying with your various mental states. We're always saying, oh, I feel happy today, I feel sad. No, there is sadness, there is happiness, but it's just a mental state. It's not yours. Don't cling to it. And if you don't cling to it, it doesn't last in the mind. Anyway, so developing, learning how to just stay in the present moment, grounded in the body. At some point, when you gain enough concentration and without distractions, when the 5 hindrances, it all depends on the 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are what keep the ego sense of self there. And little by little, it starts to fade away. Now, when you see the sense of self starting to fade away, the past and the future, and the awareness is just flowing in the present moment, that's a direct experience. And you see how the sense of self is directly dependent on the sense of how much desire and aversion, the past and the future, you are remembering from whatever is happening in or around you. So when the mind stops that activity, it reverts back to the more what we call pure awareness, without the sense of I so much. But it's a very gradual process. And only when you see that, when you get glimpses of a moment where you feel like actually there's the self kind of disappeared and there's just a very vast awareness. It's a very common experience, people have it. But it doesn't last very long. But in meditation, you can get to the point where that sense of self, fades away, and you can maintain that longer and longer, and eventually that will lead to the states of, enlightenment. So, I don't know. Did I help answer your question, Anne?
Yes,
Something
Bhante.
happened with the light in my room here. What? The dark.
Yeah, it's dark.
What's going
Yes,
on,
Bhante,
Prashant? Help me out.
That helps. Thank you.
You can turn on your light on the left side. Just
Well, it was bright before. What happened?
can you check?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, anybody else have any questions or any follow-up questions on that? I mean, that's really what the whole Dhamma is about. The whole practice of Dhamma is to experience that illusion of the ego consciousness and how it's by clinging to the sense of self, that is the root cause of suffering. And when that sense of self disappears, that's happiness, because it's the sense of self exists for the past and the future. When you let go of that craving and desire for the past or future, then the self has nothing to stand on. It's like an ice cube melting in water. So the ego, that's an example I often give. Many of you have heard that before. That when you're able to maintain that flow of present moment awareness without, the mind getting caught up and carried away in the thoughts, or without getting sleepy, a very bright, vivid awareness, then you can see that very clearly. And whenever the mind starts to react to something, the sense of self contracts back, the consciousness contracts back up. So the ice cube in the water, the ice cube is made of water, right? But the ice cube thinks it's different from the water that's floating in. But what happens when you melt, the ice cube melts and it becomes a water. You can't say, hey, where's my ice cube anymore? It's become the water. Then now there's no separation. So that's what happens when the ego dissolves into what we call the larger pure awareness. And it's only kept contracted around the ego is a contraction of the mind. It's contracting over wanting to see this, wanting to smell that, wanting to taste that, not liking this, liking that. That's what constantly keeps the mind contracted around the self. And the belief in it, thinking that we have a self, prevents the mind from letting go. So that's why that, having an intellectual understanding of how this ego is created and how we keep on perpetuating it, only when you understand that can you understand how then to let it go. That's the thing. Or take ayahuasca. But that's another.
Okay.
Do you
Or
believe
LSD.
in
But that's only
ayahuasca?
temporary.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's a way to experience non-self?
A lot of people use it for that, but again, they can't maintain it because they can't go on taking ayahuasca every day of their life. You have to learn how to do it through meditation. So that's why those drug experiences, they can help people, but without the meditation and understanding the mind and retraining our mind, then it has a limited value. It can maybe lead one to wanting to meditate more, but
Yeah, that makes sense. But what I find is just trying to undo all the conditioning, because conditioning is so, I mean, I'm the type of person, your feet hit the floor and you just go, go, go all day.
yes,
And because we're taught that if you're doing, you're somebody, and just sitting down to meditate. I mean, I've been doing it for about 5 years, but boy, it was hard even to sit for 2 minutes. It really, it takes a lot of effort. And
of course, because the ego doesn't want to give up itself. It's
No.
called Mara. And so when you start meditating, it's an attack. The ego is threatened when people start to learn the Dhamma. That's why it throws up a lot of smoke screens and throws up a lot of illusions, and because it doesn't want to let go of itself. That's why it takes a lot of right understanding and the precepts, the whole practice of Dhamma, the Eightfold Path, all those things that we've talked about. They're all designed at helping that process, that deconditioning process.
Do you recommend body contemplation, the hair, skin, teeth, nails?
I recommend, yes, mindfulness of the body, because the body is always in the present moment, but not identifying it as being me. It's just the four elements, and the body is just a vehicle for this consciousness. But by remembering the present moment, like just sitting, breathing, if you could just remember and feel those sensations of sitting and breathing without any intervening thoughts coming into your mind, you could gain that state of concentration and awareness when the thoughts stop. Just by doing that, because the body's in the present moment. It's the past and the future that creates a sense of self. And that's what we investigate. When you meditate, look at it. See how that process is working in your mind. That's how you get insights. All of a sudden you say, "Oh my God, that's true. Wow." That's the kind of insight you need to have to understand how our mind has tricked us into getting trapped in what I could call the trap of, the ego's trap. The comic web. Yeah. And it needs to be practiced, not just when you sit to meditate, but You have to bring this awareness even into, daily life situations and so on. Any other questions?
Just to clarify something, Bhante, you mentioned the 5 hindrances a little bit earlier. Is that the
Yes.
same as, is that the same as the 5 khandhas? The form, feeling, perception,
No, the 5 hindrances are the
aggregate.
things that block our ability to gain concentration. That
Okay,
means sensual desire. So the idea of always thinking about, things you can do to eat or smell or taste or do, pleasure, wanting to tantalize the senses, satisfy your desires. So these are come up in your thoughts, and you have to see that sensual desire is in me. You have to let it go. You have to analyze what it's made up of and try to let go of it and keep coming back to the body. That's why if you just develop concentration on the breathing and are able to develop that, continuous concentration on the breathing, that is what suppresses these sensual desires and then aversions, the ill will. So when these sensual desire and ill will, these are constantly moving through our mind, keeping our mind, stirring up our memories, stirring up our emotions. And we have to examine them as being just for what they are. They're just memories and keeping us trapped. And then there's restlessness and worry, or just, when's this going to be over? When's this going to be over? And, kind of like you're sitting on a bunch of ants. You can always just, you can't relax. And then there's the sloth and torpor. The sleepiness, and when you're slouching like that. Yeah, that's why you have to keep sitting straight. You can't go to sleep when you're sitting perfectly straight, keeping the chin up. That's why I always mention that, and do some deep, slow breathing. That helps you keep in the body, too. And then, of course, doubts. So doubts about whether meditation has any benefit or whether the Dhamma is real, or doubts about yourself. Oh, I'll never be able to do this, and all that kind of. Those doubts prevent you from, giving it your best shot. So those 5 hindrances, those are what keep our minds spinning around. So they're suppressed through eventually gaining concentration, and then the mind becomes very clear. So 5 hindrances, yeah. And they're all connected with the 5 aggregates, of course. All these things are kind of connected, these lists of things that you read about in the Dhamma, the 5 aggregates, and the 5 hindrances. But, they have different kind of attributes. So that's why having an intellectual understanding of the Dhamma is useful, because it gives you something to think about in your meditation, too. And then that helps you overcome the doubts. When you start actually seeing, oh, that's what perception is. Oh, you can see how that painful feeling caused the ego to contract. This is investigation of Dhamma, observing it as it happening in your mind. Not abstract thinking. Okay, I see a couple of golden hands there. Nisanka, you have a question? Unmute yourself, please. Okay.
I think D came in earlier, but that's okay, I can ask. Yeah, under suppression, you have to be careful when you suppress, because it can come with higher energy later, like the Jack in the Box.
Yeah, if you practice too much concentration without mindfulness, that's the way you suppress things. It's like pushing the Jack in the Box down into the box and putting on the lid. let's say by focusing on only one point, like focusing on a kasina or just the anapanasati, trying to feel the very subtle little sensation at the nose, and then feeling a white light, and then try to absorb into the white light and all. That's why you suppress your various thoughts. But in mindfulness, by practicing mindfulness, you don't get to that point where you get too absorbed in any one objects, and you tune in to the moment-to-moment flow of things, but without grasping them. And so you're aware of sense desire, you're aware of aversions, but you apply the appropriate antidotes. And but sometimes, you might suppress things for some time, but when they get suppressed, like in a jhana, you can then you can experience altered states of consciousness. And then when you come out of that, sure, those suppressed thoughts and feelings may come up. That's why only by attaining magga phala, by attaining the stages of enlightenment, do the fetters get totally, eradicated. Like seeing through the illusion of the self and developing insights, and learning how to, observe your thoughts and let go of them rather than pushing them down by the sheer force of concentration. So it's a tricky business. The mind is a very tricky thing, it's always trying to, protect itself. And so all these different methods that the Buddha taught, there are ways of learning to deal with that. So, and trying to meditate in perfect conditions. That's why, learn to meditate even in noisy places. The mind lets go rather than suppresses things. It lets go of things. I see another golden hand up, but it's not connected to any name. I don't know who it is.
Okay, just one.
It's Dushanti, Bhante Rahula.
Dushanti, I
evening.
don't see any name connected with that hand.
Yeah, my computer crashed, so I'm using another computer here.
Okay, do you have a question, Dushanti?
I do. I've been focusing on a particular sound when I meditate, and the sound, it moves so quickly, and sometimes it seems to seize, and so then I'll focus on whatever other sound might arise. And I'm wondering if I'm cheating in a way because I move my objects from sound to sound and just focus on sound in general because things are just moving and changing so quickly. I can't stay with an object and sound.
You can
it
use
feels
sound,
like.
but you don't focus on one sound. You see how many sounds you can hear, but not to think about any particular one. See how quickly they're just arising and
Okay.
vanishing, hundreds and thousands of them in the space of a minute.
Okay, great.
Or within the
That's what I've been
space of 5
doing.
or 10 seconds. It depends on if there's a lot of sounds in your room, people talking, door slamming, cat meowing, dog barking, sounds inside your house, sounds outside, airplane going overhead, the fire engine running down the street. And it's just hearing. And if you'll keep up with that without dragging the past to the future or thoughts about the sounds. It's just hearing. And to let go of the sense of I am hearing even, then that's a way of entering that expanded awareness, the sense of self also dissolving. So yes, you could do that with sounds, but you're not focusing on any one sound. Don't focus on a particular sound. See how many you can just hear just coming and going. There's no time for your mind
Perfect.
to think about any. And that's when the sense of self starts to fade away, because as I mentioned, the sense of self only stays contracted as you are trying to think and remember what these various sounds are.
Yes, thank you so much, Bhante.
And the
That's
same with
very
body
reassuring.
sensations. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm as examining it, it's like everything is coming and going so quick, and then it's just sound and sound for a while, and then
Yeah,
that's all
just
it
do a
is for a
sound
long
medicine. If
time.
you come to that point, maybe a thunderstorm and rain. See how many different pitter patters of raindrops you can hear, and any other sounds. But don't think about them. It's just hearing. Develop this idea. It's just hearing, and just hearing so many that you can't think about anything else.
Thank you, Bhante.
Do you have another question, Kimberly?
I do, and the sound made me think of it. I've listened to a lot of Ajahn Sumedho talks about the nada sound, about that sound that's kind of continually in your ears, like that, almost like a white noise type thing. Do you know anything about that? And I just think it's really intriguing because I hear it all the time, and I don't think it's tinnitus, but
That's the sound of your brain waves. That's how I interpret it. The sound of silence. He calls it the sound of silence. That means the mind isn't chattering. It's just that vibration of the nervous system. It's electricity, right? This body has billions of electrons in it, and they're all vibrating. That's electricity. So it's kind of that sound, what you're hearing, it's very, very subtle. And only when you get concentrated can you really hear it. And if you just stay with that, then basically it's the present moment, and then you can experience that dissolution of the sense of self too. Okay, if there's no other questions, I think, being as this will be the last Wednesday for a couple of weeks. As most of you know, I'm leaving tomorrow for 2 weeks. So, we can have a longer meditation tonight if you like. Do some yoga and or maybe I have to get up very early in the morning tomorrow morning to go catch my flight. So, might even stop it a little bit earlier. But okay. So, those are good questions. Thanks for your questions. And so let's take a few minutes break, come back, do a few yoga stretches, and see what we can do. Okay? We'll see you back in a few minutes. My hands are going to be lost up there. I can do more. Turn the camera down a little. Oh, good, good. Okay, friends, so try to stand straight, relax your arms and hands at the sides. Gently close your eyes. Just feel your feet pressing the floor. Just feel the height and weight of the body over the feet. Sort of mentally feel the outline of the standing body and begin some deep, slow breathing, the three-part breathing, drawing the air from the lower lung up to the top. Feel the expansion in your upper chest, hold the air in for 2 seconds, and slowly breathe out. A few more deep, slow breaths, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll coordinate that breathing with these movements, repeating each exercise 3 times. On the next in-breath, raise the hands over the head, interlock your fingers, stretch the head back, straighten the arms, stretch up. Look up at the back of your hands, stretch. Out breath, hands back to the sides. Feel the last bit of air go out as the hands reach the sides. And again, in breath. Stretch up, bend back a little, feel the arch in the spine, feel the sensations. Out breath, hands back to the side. Feel the last bit of air go out. 3rd time, in breath. Stretch up, bend back a little more, hold that longer. Feel the sensations, finish the pain. Out breath. Feel the last bit of air go out as the arms come down. Relax. Keep feeling the body. Sort of hold that outline of the body in the mind's eye. Feel all those increased sensations, maybe some aches and pains, tingling sensations, prickly sensations, clothing touching the skin, the increased heartbeat, any or all of those sensations. So keep your mind in the body, in the present moment, letting go of your thoughts. Just remember standing, standing, standing. In the next next in breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the hands over the head, facing the hands toward each other. Stretch up. Out breath, come back down. Feel the air going out as the arms come back down. Use the in breath to help lift up the body. Feel that air coming in the upper lungs. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Stretch. Out. Relax. Keep feeling the body, don't give the mind time to escape into thought. Feel all the sensation. More sensation you feel, less time for your mind to think about other things. Get drawn into past or future. And next we'll do the side bending. So the next in breath, raise both arms up. Keep your fingers and arms straight, close to the head. The out breath, bend over the right side. Keep your arms parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In breath, lift up. And the other side, out breath. With a bend in the side. In breath up. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Out breath. In. Out. In. Once more to each side. The out breath, lower the arms. Just relax. Close the eyes. Feel all those life force vibrations. Feeling the clothing touching the outer skin. Subtle life force sensations under the skin. Just remember standing. Next we'll do the squatting or knee bending. On the next in breath, you can lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms up front for balance. On the out breath, bend the knees, lower the body down into the squatting position if you can, balancing on the balls of the feet. And take a deep breath, feel the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up on the toes, and out breath. In, out. little longer. Even out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat. Try to hold the outline of the body in the mind's eye. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin. Life force vibrations under the skin. Okay, now spread your feet about 3 feet apart, as wide as the better. Hold the arms out to the side. We'll do twisting from right to left. Lateral twisting of the spine. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. Let your feet turn a little bit with the body. In breath, come back to the front. Let the feet turn with the body, then twist to the other side, the out breath. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Come back to the front. Relax. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the clothing, trousers touching your legs. Feel the hands touching the legs. Feel the clothing touching the chest, stomach, arms. Head balanced on top. Feel the eyes in the sockets, feel the skin stretched over the front of the skull. You should be able to feel all those different sensations in the space of a couple seconds. It's concentrated awareness. Now hold the arms out to the sides again. We'll do alternate toe touching. So breathe in. On the out breath, bring your left arm across and down to touch your right leg below the knee, as far down as you can reach towards your foot. And try to look up at your other hand over your head. Carefully come back up on the in breath. And then the other side, the right hand over to the left knee or leg down by the foot. And breath come up. Just keep alternating sides like that. Try to stretch a little bit further each time. Every time, try to hold it a little longer. Relax. Just feel all the sensations. Some extra pains, pulsations, clothing touching the skin. Here and now in the body. Now bring the legs back together. We'll do the head turning from right to left. The in-breath, turn the head to the right, look over the right shoulder. Have a stiff neck, just be careful. The out-breath, turn all the way back to the left, look over the left shoulder. In-breath to the right. Out-breath left. Once more to each side. And the in-breath, let the head stop in the middle. Just keep feeling the body, feel the outline of the body. All the life force vibrations within that outline. Okay, we're going to do one last exercise. Backward and forward, bending, pulling the arms out in front, turn the palms outward, try to touch your little fingers together. On the in-breath, raise the hands up, level with your eyes. Begin spreading the arms out to the sides as you bend back on the out-breath. Your eyes open, look at the ceiling with the arch of the spine. Be come up on an in-breath, lift up. Keep the arms out at the sides, and on the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down as you bend forward. And keep your legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward. Begin the in-breath. Raise the hands. Out breath, hands out to the sides, bend back. In breath, lift up. Out breath, downward stretch. Once more, in breath. Out. In. Out. Hold the downward stretch longer. Try to keep the legs straight. Little bones in the lower spine stretch out. Feel all those sensations. Bend the knees a little bit. Carefully lift up. On an in-breath, bring the hands together at the chest. Out breath, hands to the sides. Feel the whole body. Feel that increased aliveness of the whole body. Those billions of cells charged up with oxygen. The exercise movement. Feel as though you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations, the soles of the feet up to the top of the head. The whole body should kind of feel like an Alka-Seltzer tablet dropped in water. It's fizzing life force vibration. You can tune into that, that becomes that inner sound. Okay, so let's come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting. Just get comfortable in your sitting posture. Let's try to align your head and your spine in a straight line. Just to establish that natural inward curve of the lower lumbar spine, with that gentle inward kind of arch. It helps to support the weight of the upper body. And gently close your eyes. Just feel your eyes in the sockets. Try to feel that outline of the sitting body, sense of the head on top, the arms and hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin, hands and fingers touching, buttocks pressing the seat, the feet tucked underneath the body, pressing the floor. Just to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. It's like you were looking into a mirror. Then begin some deep, slow breathing like we did in the yoga session. You know what the three-part breathing is. Do the three-part breathing. Drawing the air into the upper chest. Hold the air in for 2 seconds. Feel the pause. On the out breath, feel the contracting sensations of the out breath and the last bit of air going out. Just follow that out breath down to the in. And the next in breath, just take several more breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Feel the last bit of air go out. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. As the breath goes out, don't try to control the breath any longer. Just let the breath come in by itself. No longer control the breathing. Just let the breathing return to its uncontrolled, short, irregular rhythm, but continue to observe it, to feel it. Keep your attention focused on the subtler movements of the abdomen, stomach, rib cage, chest. Try to feel the sensations of the clothing rubbing against the skin of the stomach and chest as it expands and contracts. Just make that the main focus of your mindful concentration. Just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Know it by feeling it. Just feeling those sensations. Try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The expanding in breath and the brief pause. Contracting out breath. and the brief pause, those pauses between the breaths. Feel the outline of the sitting body. To help stay focused, you can use these brief reminders of in, sitting, out, out, sitting. In, sitting, out, out, sitting. It's the ongoing, continuous, present moment of this body. Especially be alert for the brief pauses between the breaths. Those brief pauses between the breaths, feel those subtle, silent vibrations of the body. Just letting go of the past and future, letting go of your thoughts. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind, keeping the breathing body in the front of the awareness. You're looking into a mirror, just watching the body sitting and breathing, the inner eye of awareness. In the pauses between the breaths, keep checking the posture. Keep the spine straight, chin lifted up. Try to feel that breathing going in and out of its larger body. This breathing process keeps this body alive. If you can kind of visualize that process of breathing in, the oxygen transferring to the bloodstream, being carried out to all the cells of the body, breathing out carbon dioxide, lactic acid, on the out breath. It will help you to stay concentrated. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths. Help stay awake, centered in the body. Be aware of any of the 5 hindrances if they arise. Try to notice how each breath is different, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes it's an easy breath, sometimes a difficult breath. Pauses between the breaths may be longer or shorter. It's always changing. Notice all those changes. Helps you to concentrate. You don't have something to clearly focus on, the mind easily gets distracted, carried away in thoughts, and goes to sleep. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Especially with each out breath, allow the body and mind to relax more and more to the here and now. Just tuning into the subtle life force vibration. You catch the mind lost in thought, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Take a few deep, slow breaths. Reground awareness deep in the body, awake, centered in the body. Be alert for how quickly different sensations arise and vanish, different places on the body. Breathing is always there in the center, but all around it. The flow of impermanent sensations in the body changing, some sounds in your house arising and vanishing. Thoughts coming and going. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Pleasure or pain come and go. Sounds come and go. Thoughts, ideas come and go. Thoughts of I, me, or mine come and go. These are all just a continuous flow of the five aggregates, this body, mind, and world, and the nature of constant change and impermanence. Even our sense of self is just continually being created through our attachment and memory of the past and future. Just try to understand that. Just let that little sense of I just continue to fade away in the background. Fade away into the ocean of expanded awareness. Sabbe sankhara anicchati yada panyaya pasati atanabindati dukhi Esamango visuddhya Nati janam apanyacha Panyanati ajaitu Yam hijaranja panyacha Siri nibbana santiki Dukkha patacani dukkha Bhayapataca nibbaya Sokapataca nisoka Hontu sabbe pipaninu All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last and then vanish. When one sees this with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to freedom. And there's no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who is both concentrated and is wise is close to peace and freedom. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. Thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting on a long out breath to feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Breathe. Breathe. Sadhu. Now place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull the hands against your knees to arch your spine. Look up at the ceiling. Feel the sensation. Lift the head up on an in-breath. And on the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the head up level on an in-breath. Relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So this brings our evening meditation to an end. And I always say, mindfulness should never end. It's our natural state of awareness. We know how to tune into it, open up to it. So again, for the next couple of weeks, we won't be having this Wednesday Zoom program, but in the meantime, try to keep up your daily meditation, especially try to increase the frequency of your M&Ms, stopping every hour during the day for 1 minute. Take a couple of deep, slow breaths, bring your mind back to the present moment of the body. Send out metta, if you accumulated any ill will. Just relax the mind back into the present moment. Okay? Be well, be mindful, be safe. And Namo Buddhaya. See you again in a couple of weeks, or you can re-listen to some of the previous YouTube videos from the past if you want to, if you have this time free on Wednesday nights to keep up that habit. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Safe travels.